Straight ahead on 12 News, more on the Brooklyn Park woman killed and her connection to the UCLA shooter. But first, a devastating apartment fire that investigators believe could have been prevented.
Smoking on apartment decks. You shouldn't do it. You should not do it.
12 News starts right now. Hello, everyone, and thanks for joining us. At least a dozen people will have to find temporary shelter tonight after a fire ripped through a Robbinsdale apartment complex, sending 3 firefighters to the hospital with minor burns.
It is the third time this week that firefighters in the Northwest Metro have had to deal with a residential blaze. As Delane Cleveland reports, investigators say this fire likely could have been prevented.
This was a big fire. Not often do you go to 5 alarm.
Charred remains and huge puddles of water are the only things left of a place that dozens of people once called home.
It started with the people that live next door to us.
U.S. Army veteran Billy Buchanan is one of the residents of the beach south of the lake apartments. He lost his third-floor unit and many of his treasured possessions.
Closet full of suits, military photos with some of my battle buddies that are no longer here.
A lifetime of memories up in flames, just as he and his wife were getting ready to move.
I took a position in Kentucky that begins July 1st. So we were literally getting ready to start packing all of our belongings so that we could start shipping them across the country.
We'll continue our investigative work.
At a news conference Friday morning, Robbinsdale firefighters described their efforts.
The first call came in about 1:28 a.m. and the fire was pretty much under control about 8, but we did not leave till after 9:30.
In total, it took 110 firefighters from 13 departments to contain the 5-alarm fire, and in the process, 3 firefighters suffered minor burns.
We train hard and try to be as safe as we can, but when you're fighting a fire, that's a dangerous enemy.
Making matters worse is the fact that it didn't have to happen. Robbinsdale firefighters say the investigation is still ongoing, but right now all signs are pointing to the fact that a cigarette was the cause.
Smoking on apartment decks. You shouldn't do it. You should not do it.
It was a sentiment shared by Buchanan.
Thanks to people making really stupid decisions, we now have nothing.
In Robbinsdale, Delane Cleveland, 12 News.
Fire investigators say the apartment complex was not equipped with sprinklers because the building was built before they were required.
More than 30 Red Cross disaster volunteers helped families in the Robbinsdale apartment fire and one the night before in New Hope. In 2 nights, the Red Cross worked with nearly 50 local families who found themselves in need of a place to live, food, clothing, and other basic essentials. Those who don't have renter's insurance have more needs.
Right now, we're talking about short term. They're exhausted, especially the ones who had the fire this morning. They've been up since 1 in the morning, so let's just get you some rest. Our caseworkers will be in touch to start talking with them over the next couple of days on what happens now, what other nonprofit agencies might be able to help, what social services agencies are out there.
Megan Rosick says after the New Hope fire, the property management company was able to find housing for some of those displaced.
Another fire in Plymouth overnight could have been worse had it not been for a sprinkler system. A tuck-under garage was fully engulfed shortly before 11:30 Thursday night when firefighters arrived at a townhome near Dundee Nursery. The fire started to spread to the rest of the home, but a sprinkler system prevented significant damage to the living space. The cause of the fire is under investigation.
A Brooklyn Park elementary school was on lockdown this morning after a man called 911 threatening to shoot himself nearby. Brooklyn Park police responded to a home on Colfax just southwest of Monroe Elementary School after 10 Friday morning. They placed the school on lockdown for a brief time while they investigated. Police say there was no danger to any of the students and there is no further public safety concern. We are learning more about the Brooklyn Park woman who was found dead in her home on Thursday.
Police say a man named Minak Sarkar shot and killed her before driving to California to kill a UCLA professor. Reporter Shannon Slatton tells us more about Ashley Hasty.
Ashley Hasty was a medical student who lived on a quiet street in Brooklyn Park. She attended Park Center High School and graduated from there in 2004. Here are a few of her yearbook photos. Ashley got a degree from the University of Minnesota in Asian languages in 2008. 4 years later, she enrolled in medical school. By all accounts, her life on her Brooklyn Park street was a quiet one.
The majority of the things that I've found out about her have been through the news because they were, quiet, kept to themselves, and never had any problems.
Hennepin County records show she married Minack Sarkar in 2011. They split up about a year later. Today, the medical examiner released that Hasty died of multiple gunshot wounds. Police believe Sarkar got into the house through a broken window.
All right, thank you. Well, 2 companies are expected to bring dozens of new jobs to Brooklyn Park. Medical device firm Biomerix is looking to create more than 120 jobs by moving from Rogers to Brooklyn Park. The company plans to invest between $6 and $7 million in a new building later this year. And hydraulic equipment manufacturer Knott Company is interested in moving from Arden Hills. It's proposing a 60,000 square foot building. It's unclear how many jobs would be created or moved. Brooklyn Park officials say more than 4,000 jobs have been created in the city since 2009. Coming up, Armstrong students share their powerful journey learning about civil rights.
And then later in sports, highlights from a pair of wild games in section softball finals.
But first, Sunday appears to be the nicer day of the weekend. A stray showers possible Saturday afternoon.
Welcome back. Thursday night was movie night at Armstrong High School.
Yeah, a group of students recently went on a civil rights tour, and their trip resulted in them making movies on African American, Native American, Latino, and multicultural experiences in the U.S. The students referred to themselves as modern-day freedom fighters and had a chance to see many historic civil rights spots. The journey was a powerful and amazing opportunity for the kids.
That's real world knowledge. Like, they can only teach you so much at school, sadly. But once you get out and experience things, like, those are lessons that will stick with you for the rest of your life.
The students are hoping that the freedom fighter trips will lead to ethnic studies classes in the future in Robbinsdale.
Homegrown musical talent will spill out onto the street of one Maple Grove neighborhood Saturday to benefit a good cause. These are pictures from the past 3 years of Haiti Fest. It's a free street concert put on by Maple Grove teenagers raising money for a mission trip to Haiti. Last year, nearly 300 people turned out and raised $1,800 for the trip, which includes working with children with disabilities in an orphanage.
My brother and sister have gone before me, and they've come back with so many stories, and it's so cool, and I just really wanted to experience that for myself and just grow as a person in my faith and just in my attitude towards the world.
The music kicks off at 6 o'clock Saturday night outside the Frazier's home in the 12,500 block of 90th Place North. That is in Maple Grove. It is something to watch out for on the road in Minnesota this time of year.
Female turtles are crossing roads this month in search of high nesting ground to lay their eggs, and that puts them at risk of getting run over by a car. Every year, thousands of turtles are killed on streets near wetlands, and Three Rivers Park officials ask that you avoid hitting a turtle if you can do it safely. Experts say the turtle's natural reaction can put them in more danger.
As far as pronouns go, they're not like a squirrel or a deer that run off the road real quick. What they do is they pull into their shell, which leaves them stuck on the road for even longer. So you want to make sure that you let them get across the road as quick as possible. Shovel in the back of the car.
The turtles in this part of the state do not belong to a threatened species, but experts say roadway mortality is a big factor in declining populations. Well, coming up, the Plymouth Playhouse tackles life at 50.
But first, some great local performances at the Section 6 Track and Field Championships. John Jacobson has that and more up next in sports.
It might have been a little wet today for track and field, but state meet is coming up next week, and we've got some athletes headed for that.
A lot of them. Luckily, the weather was good Thursday for Section 6 AA, and we have a lot of athletes that have qualified. Yes, spots in next week's state meet are on the line this week for local track and field athletes. Those in Section 6 AA have their finals on Thursday. Hamilton University the site for the Section 6 AA meet. Hopkins and Wayzata battling down the stretch of the boys 4x800 relay. Hopkins wins it in a time of 7 minutes, 55.91 seconds. Wayzata also qualifies for state. Fast group in the boys 100 meters. In the middle in all red, Evan McClellan of Armstrong sets a new section record with a time of 10.36 seconds. He also wins the 200. Alexandria Hurst of Armstrong is also a double winner. Here in the shot put, she throws 43 feet 8 3/4 inches, also wins the discus. The boys discus title goes to Eric Wilson of Benilde St. Margaret's. His best 146 feet 5 inches, and he also wins the shot put. Armstrong's Michaela Baker follows up her long jump win with a title in the triple jump, here going 38 feet 3 inches. In the boys' 1,600 meter run, Jarrett Carpenter of Wayzata, who also won the 3,200, takes first in a time of 4 minutes 11.43 seconds. Finally, Ruby Stauber, the state girls record holder in the 800, sets a new Section 6 AA record, blowing away the field with a winning time of 2 minutes 7.65 seconds. Wayzata takes the boys' team title with 163 points, 13 ahead of Edina. Hopkins is third with Armstrong in fifth. Benilde is seventh and Cooper 15th. Minnetonka is the girls' team champion, followed by Eden Prairie and Edina. Wayzata, Armstrong, and Hopkins are 4, 5, and 6. Benilde is 9th and Cooper 13th. We'll have more track and field coming up Monday on our Sports Jam show here on Channel 12. In softball, Maple Grove was looking for its 5th consecutive state tournament appearance. The Crimson needed to sweep 2 games, though, from Spring Lake Park to take the Section 5 4A title. Emily Mock's high chopper gets through up the middle to score a run for Maple Grove in the 4th inning. Crimson get 3 in the frame, and they go up 3-0 on the Panthers. And here's the most memorable of several strange plays. Bria Parrish launches it over the fence in the 6th inning for an apparent go-ahead 3-run homer, but Panthers coach Lori Lightbody makes contact with the second runner on the play, so just 1 run counts and the game is tied 3-3. Maple Grove takes advantage in the 7th, then a pop-up by Aaron Roll is dropped. Spring Lake Park tries to get the runner returning the second, but she's safe, and the go-ahead run scores. Maple Grove takes an improbable 4-3 win, and that forces a second game for the title. Now in game 2, the Crimson looking to keep that momentum, and they get 2 in the 1st inning. Sophie Cohane, the liner to right to score a roll with the first run, 2-0 Crimson after a half an inning. The Panthers answer in the 3rd. Sierra Ryland driving it to deep left to score a run that makes it 2-all. They add another on a sacrifice fly to go up 3-2. Down to their last 2 outs, Maple Grove ties it up. Emma Schifferle's grounder up the middle gets through to score Sydney Cashman. Maple Grove ties it 3-3 after 7. But in the 8th, Maddie Iskirka delivers a game-winning hit that sends the Panthers to their first ever state tournament in softball. They win it over Maple Grove 4-3. In Section 6 4A, the upstart Armstrong Falcons look to punch their ticket to state. First-year head coach Joe Fatanti and the Falcons facing Hopkins in the final. The Royals start fast. Allie Reese hits a line drive to the gap to score Natalie Den Hartog and Hannah Kleist. Hopkins leads 2-0 after half an inning. Armstrong gets one of those runs back on the bottom of the 1st. Kaylin Leonard with a 2-out hit to the gap. Caitlin Jones hustles all the way around from first base and cuts the Hopkins lead in half. The Royals build the lead from there. In the top of the 7th, and Hartog with a solo home run. The Royals add another run in the inning to lead 7-1. Armstrong, though, puts together a rally. Bases loaded. Freshman Kelly O'Keefe comes through with a 3-run triple, cutting the lead to 7-4. The Royals misplay a pop-up, and 2 more runs come home on the next play to make it 7-6. The rally falls short. Reese gets a strikeout to end the game. Hopkins forces an if game that's going on against the Falcons Friday afternoon. Now in baseball, top seed Maple Grove look to score another win in Section 8 4A. They face Brainerd in round 2. Bottom of the 2nd, no score. Maple Grove's Isaac Collins hits a liner to right center field. Lucas Burrington comes around from 2nd to score, and the Crimson jump out to a 1-0 lead. Maple Grove pitcher Charlie Horton gets into a couple of jams, including a bases-loaded situation in the third, but he strikes out Chris Peterson to end the inning. He isn't as lucky, though, in the fifth inning. After loading the bases with no outs, Peterson walks and a high fastball. Will Peabody scores, and that ties the game at 1. Bottom half of the inning, Collins lays down a perfect squeeze bunt. Not only does Hayden Thompson score on the play, but Collins is safe at first. Brett Schultz comes in to finish things off, getting Dakota Gooderjohn to strike out. Drew Lewis's throw to first ends the game. The Crimson move on with a 2-1 win.
Well, this was a great game, I think. Brainerd's a great hitting team. 1 through 9, they're all swinging the stick. And as a pitcher, that really makes you concentrate throughout the entire game. You can't take any pitches off. So I think it was a good team win to beat a team like this.
I think it's a big confidence boost. I mean, we weren't very highly ranked this year, but you know, coming into this now #1 and showing that we can beat some good teams out here, it definitely looks good for us on the upcoming few games.
Maple Grove scheduled to play Elk River Saturday. Hopefully they'll be able to get that one in, and that's at St. John's University in Collegeville.
Okay, thanks a lot, John.
Yeah.
Still ahead, big pants and Botox.
It's a new show at the Plymouth Playhouse, and we'll have a preview next.
And finally, life at 50.
It's a significant age, no matter how you look at it. A show at the Plymouth Playhouse has a humorous look at the mid-century mark. Neil Persley has a preview in today's Weekend Showcase.
Well, I say almost single because I am married, only he's not here. He went out for a pack of cigarettes about 5 weeks ago and didn't come back.
And so begins the reveal of the life of Barbara, who has just survived her 50th birthday party. She narrates for the audience the story of her life up to the present, taking on several characters of prominence in her life along the way.
Harry won't fly at all. He says it's not natural for a person to be hurtling through the air in a hermetically sealed container.
No stranger to one-man shows, Kimberly Richards has dropped the habit from her days as sister in late-night catechism to carry big pants and Botox all by her lonesome as well.
Barbara is a woman of simple means who married young and didn't know that she was getting into what would be a very troublesome marriage because she married a compulsive gambler and she had no idea. And her life has been affected by that almost on a daily basis.
The play is well written and funny, but sometimes very poignant.
And she says things like, what's so wrong with looking old? It's not some rare condition that only affects the unfortunate few. So a lot of what we learn about Barbara is her acceptance, is really coming to terms with the way things are and accepting that that's okay.
Although the play is humorous, it does deal with fairly adult subject matter and wouldn't be suitable for children.
Nobody gets me riled up like my mother. I'm 50. All she has to do is push my buttons and step back. And if I try to argue with her, she just brings up my birth. Oh. I was slit from here to here like a filleted fish.
For Weekend Showcase, I'm Neil Persley, 12 News.
Makes us laugh. Big Pants and Botox runs now through August 14th. Have a great weekend, everyone.
We'll see you back here Monday starting at 4.